You been having a good day off?
Yeah,
How,
kind of.
how,
I spent all day at the fucking dealership
well, 4 hours. Five.
for four tires.
Jesus, dude.
And an old guy fell. Yeah, dude, it
Yes.
scared the shit out of me, dude.
Tell
So
tell a story.
like
This will go on this shit, folks. This is why we need 100 subscribers.
like we're just sitting there and I mean, guy gets called up. He's like an old guy. He has like a hard time getting up. I'm like, whatever. I'm like just sitting there dinking around on my phone like you do. And pretty soon, like I hear bam. I turn around and the old guy was like on the ground and like everybody had like stood up, but nobody was like moving forward. So I just like jumped over the chairs, and, like went and like sat next to him. But luckily, like by the time I got to him, I at least saw him moving. I'm like, well, at least he's alive. I'm like,
You were fucking speed motion. You're like, dude, is anybody gonna fucking help the dude
yeah.
that
And then
just
like I
died?
just like sit there and like have like a little conversation with him. I'm like, you all right? What happened? He's like, I just fell. I'm like, you feeling all right? I'm like, my name's Matt. What's yours?
No.
And I just start having like a conversation to make sure like he's coherent, right? And just like he was just just fucking fell, man. That's what it
Oh,
is.
that's like it looks like I'm naked, doesn't it? I'm not fucking naked. I'm sorry. I got clothes on.
Naked
That's right.
podcast.
Yeah, subscribe. No, dude, I always feel like the old people fucking go down or something like that, and it's like the oh, you knew it was gonna happen type thing, and then you're so embarrassed on top of the shit happening
Like
too.
that was my thing is like I didn't want him to be too embarrassed, so I just like sit there with him. I'm just like, yeah, just like I because like I was gonna try to like lift him up, but I'm like, dude, that's just gonna hurt him, you know,
Oh yeah,
like that's gonna hurt him worse, you know. I'm like, yeah, let's get you a chair over here so we can at least sit you up, you
yep.
know, get your
Um,
pride back, you know.
or yeah, being sat in a chair and getting your pride back, talk.
At least a little bit better than the floor, right?
Oh fuck, I don't know. I'd be like, I can fucking. We've seen scary movie. I could fucking do it. All right. Probably leave the shirt off. Fuck it.
Just naked podcast.
I've been hitting the steroids in gym. See, I know Matt. Just good genetics.
You
Stop.
need to go hit
Stop.
that fucking
You've already
tan.
hit me with the hair and the fucking beard. All right, dude.
I can bring uh a guest for my tanning pass, so you should come with me. They already think I'm gay, dude. It's perfect.
You have a tanning pass, and it's not who through I think you have it through. You're not the guest. You have your own. Hmm. Yeah, we're gonna move on from that. Okay. Um, dude, I got some pretty good ones. Okay.
Hey,
Let's
those UV
decide.
lights though, they're good for you.
They are not.
You need to be tanning your butthole.
Only the sun is good for you in that UV sense. We gotta save that for the fuck it. We could put all this whole part in the pod too, whatever, right? Um, only the sun though is good for your butthole, right? So you gotta expose it outside. You can't just be closing it up in these dark rooms with these fake lights shining on your butthole. That ain't real.
Or never seeing light though. What's worse, your butthole never seeing light or seeing fake light? I mean, my plants don't care if it's fake light.
What's worse, never eating poison or eating poison? Does your butthole need fake light? No.
I don't know.
Okay. Anywho, let's go silent. I'll go dab. I won't put a shirt on. But see, Matt's the only one who has ladies listening, so he should be the one taking his fucking shirt off. This is why we're not getting followers, Matt.
I know. I got a
Oh,
girlfriend now. It's weird.
that's right. We'll do slow jam Sundays for his girlfriend.
From the government, and I'm here to help.
Take a look, it's in a book. Let's watch. Figure it out.
Naked Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're here with us tonight, you are joining us on a slightly weird and probably mostly retarded Naked Podcast. I'm your boy, Michael.
And I'm Matt.
We are the end of days best friends, and we're not naked. Well, I mean, I can't speak for Matt. I'm shirtless. We are the end of days best friends. Who knows? I love that I came back and you fucking were shirtless too. Anyways, what's going on tonight?
Partying like a rock star, dude. Actually had a day off. Good.
You know, I'm going to be real honest. And for the people listening to this podcast, who knows who, I feel like we podcast more when Matthew's off than me. Just going to throw that out there. Whoever's producing this thing, they should schedule it better. You know?
Yeah. That guy with his 16 kids or whatever.
I know. It is. There is a square root of 16 in there somewhere.
Yeah, dude. They just, dude, it feels like that even with like two of them, man.
Oh, it's terrible kids.
Yeah.
Well, they're not terrible kids. It's terrible having. See, that sounded again. I said it's not terrible, and then I said terrible again.
Dude, my daughter has a boyfriend.
That's scary.
Dude.
I got two, not there yet. Matt's got a daughter there.
Wasn't ready.
Yeah, you got to fill us in. This is fresh new info, folks. Nobody knows about the Matthew daughter boyfriend.
Yeah, I just kind of figured it out. Like, what I did.
Man, it's funny how this shit just happens through our life. See, folks?
Yeah. I just asked her about it. I was like, I noticed you've been dressing a little different. And then there's perfume, like an abundance of it. I'm like,
And when do we start to like tell ourselves, hey, that's not what it is? But then we start to accept, fuck, that's probably what it is. You know?
And I was like, it's a boy, huh? She's like, don't get mad. I'm like, I'm not gonna get fucking mad. I'm gonna make fun of you, but I'm not gonna get mad.
Oh, see, here's the thing though, right? I was that same type of person. You go through all this or whatever and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, you can't get caught up on the one. And I feel like that's a young kid thing nowadays.
Yeah.
Like my boy, he's fucking, well, as Matt already said, I got 900 kids, folks.
Yeah.
You know,
I got one boy. He's
you got the second chapter of Genesis ready? Because I got a name genealogy. Just kidding.
Abraham ain't got shit on.
Yeah, right. What are we doing? Anywho, folks, thanks for joining us. And it's Naked Podcast night. You know, this should drive close to our 100 subscribers.
I mean, we're naked. I mean, the OnlyFans chicks have it. Why not us?
Dude, that's actually no, I'm not even gonna say it. I almost went real fucking hoto there. I was like, two naked guys in an OnlyFans, and then I went, yeah, Michael.
Dude, if we keep like digging into that algorithm, you just start looking at it like, dude, all we have is gay guys looking at that.
Hey, money talks, bullshit walks, right? For all you gay guys out there, there's a Matt and Michael bicep. Anywho, so there's a whole lot going on in the fucking world, okay? And what drove me to write the episode tonight, and like I opened it, you're gonna think we're weird and always retarded. I could always look things up, and then I get into all these articles, and then you start trying to find an idea, and you're like, cool, man, I'm gonna look over these things, and it always goes back to the year that we were fucking born in, which is weird.
Yeah. Shitty
If
year
they're
to get on the Monopoly board.
if they're yeah, right. It's either that, dude, or we're living in a simulation. You know, why did everything that we're trying to do start with us? That's what I'm saying. Okay. And it sounds a little bit crazy, dude, but like the more you sit with it, it really isn't that crazy. Okay. And what if there was like not an apocalyptic blast? You know, all these people talk about like resets and mud floods and ice age shit and all that, dude. But what if there was like a technical way of it? Okay. We're in the AI era, we're in the computer era, and we're in like this weird thing where people go, well, computers are around. What if we're stuck in a simulation where they're in control of that shit, you know? And so I started going, all right, dude, what if we did all this shit happen like they've said, and it isn't that, and we keep finding this year, and we did like quote unquote die through a code or like a network that went down, dude, and like now we're in fucking still the technology era because it wasn't destruction of all these things that they were talking about, but it was like the install of it, you know? And sounds crazy, sounds wild, but I'm going to point out a bunch of shit, dude, that went down in 1988. That's like, hold the fucking phone here for a second.
All right. Convince me, Michael.
He's not that easy to convince, folks, either. His daughter's got a dang boyfriend right now, too. We're dealing with the fucking rough edge Matthew. um, if you look at 1988, dude, it starts to feel like a hinge year where reality really starts changing categories. All right. The first public like internet worm started, okay? Like a malware virus, I guess. It was the formal birth of the IPCC, which was what's IP address, right? Internet protocol or something.
Yeah.
How the fuck do we
a
know?
hyper HTTP? Right.
Yeah.
That's hypertext. But
James Hansen, okay, he had like a climate testimony. Okay, there was organized international coordination around human genome. The Basel Accord for global bank capitals happened, and then like right before CERN was created, it became the birth of the World Wide Web on the same day. You know, if you don't know that by now, CERN was literally turned on the same fucking day and birthed out when the web was too. So we're gonna get into all this stuff. And I'm not saying it's some giant sci-fi shit, dude, right? I like I said, I could be retarded at the beginning. But honestly, dude, there's a whole bunch of weird fucking dark shit about it, okay? And it might have been like a year that I was trying to find where the human like scale of world got weirder, okay? And it became like an installation of a system. And so I grabbed the things we talked about, you know. The creepiest part about 1988 though is from the outside it still was like normal to everybody else, dude. Nobody really noticed that like we were on there's no smartphones, right? No social feeds, there's no algorithm, and that's a crazy thing I feel like to mention because that's the entire world now today, you know?
right.
You don't wake up and you're not angry by the time you're taking your first shit on the fucking toilet for breakfast.
Right.
You know, and that's the world nowadays. And there was no mainstream talk of like AI replacing our jobs or gene editing babies, you know. We could fucking create a kid now for damn.
Boss is calling you in on the weekend and shit.
That always happened, Matt. Except
Not if you were out on the lake. If you
Yeah,
were out on
that's
the
true.
lake, how did they get you?
It was weird too because like how's your boss calling you when he's out on the lake doing cocaine and hookers with you in the 80s? You know?
It's a lot better time.
It was.
You just beat your coworkers.
um, you know, you didn't have to worry about like climate management. There wasn't all these fucking people yelling at you or shit and all that.
No, you
You
could fight your way to the top too. Like,
exactly, dude. It was fucking town, family, church, right? And then for like if you were on your own, it was your body, your land, and what you had in your work. If you had fucking money in your hand and your word, you were good to go, dude. There
yeah.
was nothing else there. Um, it was grounded, it was tangible, like people had a hand on it.
Was
And
it like the
then
last year of like the homemakers?
yes, that's weird. I don't know. You'd have to look that up for sure.
I wonder because like, dude, I feel like that's a like what
We
woman's
talked
a
about that today.
homemaker now?
We talked about that today, dude. My apprentices that I was talking with, I was like, because we were on a site where we were getting rid of the wiring, but we needed like the furniture and all this stuff out of the way, to get the wiring out of the office space. So they brought those people in who got rid of it. But normally back in the day, you would just see like the dudes roll in, and where we live, it's very Hispanic for these jobs. So it was always like the homeboys, that don't speak English, that come in with the ratchets and drills and they do the real quick work, throw it in the moving truck and load the cubicles up.
Let me do the
Now,
Michael thing real quick. He's also an electrician. They can't move their own things. So just
hey,
gonna
get
point that
out of
out
here.
there.
He's not wrong. um, but dude, now you go in there and like today we showed up, every homeboy there, instead of 8 homeboys, there was like 4 homeboys and they all had their wives. You get what I'm saying? Like, and this is crazy. This is gonna sound fucking racist or whatever the fuck, but it's not, dude. It's where we live, and this is what we know,
This
right?
is what it is, right? It's
Yes,
not racist.
this
It's
is
what
what it
that's what
is.
it is.
Where we
You know?
grew up, dude, there were fucking not. There was the dad who worked, and if it was the Hispanic family, it was the one paisa. He was fucking getting down, dude,
And
working all
that's
this
it.
overtime, and he had his wife who took care of the house and all the children, dude, and that was it. And now
On
we
one
can judge
salary.
these ratios because now it's both of them fucking getting it, right?
Hmm.
The wives are out there too with the husband, and they're bringing them to like construction and all these other crazy jobs. So you're exactly right. Dude, the death of the fucking single income and all that shit, it's the housewife.
Dude, yeah,
Just
and you used to be able to get like a bullshit job, like go work at the local fucking factory of whatever kind, and like that's your house, that's your car, that's your life, and your wife's a homemaker, you know?
speaking of factories, are we in like the second manufacturing generation with AI and production? Because I'm sure you've heard too, like, right? Cities are dying when whole ass production facilities leave them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You and I both know of a fucking Tyson plant that shut down, right? And it killed a whole city in Nebraska.
Dude. Yeah.
We don't even live in Nebraska. That's why it sucks. Get out of Nebraska.
Yeah. I mean, dude, and that's just about any town. Like, I mean, Gillette, when coal went down, I mean, it almost completely died because I mean every bed like you get thinking about it, it's all just trickled down, really. I mean, truly it is at that point because it all comes down from coal,
Yeah,
you know?
Wyoming, and then all of a sudden they started regulating their power plants on the coal. It had to be like one stack fucking what was it, pollution limit and all this, and it killed all those towns. Yeah. Did they do that shit on purpose?
Make more and more regulations.
Like kill the jobs, force people out of work.
I wonder. I mean, it's got to be within the calculations, right? I mean, you're not just like,
Unemployment has to be within it.
right?
They have to
Like,
know. That's a whole other episode. That's a whole
yeah,
other fucking
yeah, we can get into that for sure.
that's a whole other 15-page Word document that Michael writes.
We gotta get
um
through this one.
yeah, fuck. Uh yeah, so like that was the end of the tangible stuff. We had like the 80s with the tangible stuff and all that right there. And it's not, I don't want to talk about one giant event, that's what's crazy. We had all this, dude, and like the church and the state and everything we just mentioned, through all that. And we're gonna go through multiple things, dude, that like shifted that same direction and made it feel all fucking like changed or installed almost even, or like it happened, and you're like, what the fuck? Um, The first thing I had mentioned was the IPCC. Okay. And this is what's actually really fucking weird too, dude. 1988, and it's titled the IPCC from James Henson was the Morris worm. Yeah, what's the name of my son?
Morris.
And I didn't know this till I started looking into it. He's already old. He's 6. Weird,
Yeah.
right? Anywho, um, dude, like if we want to have a moment in 1988 where we go, this is the future arriving, the Robert Tappan Morris worm is it, okay? Here's where it gets even crazier. Okay, we're from 1988. What did we say my son's name is? Morris, right? I have another son. Guess what his birthday was? November 2nd. Okay. November 2nd, 1988, Robert Tappan Morris, a graduate student at Cornell, released what became as the Morris worm. Bro, what the fuck? Dude. Yeah, first one, folks. This is where we're going right now. What the fuck?
God.
If shit was meant to happen for this to happen right now, let's go, baby. The FBI described it as the first major attack on the internet, okay? And it later became the first person convicted under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act for this type of offense, too. Now, where we're at today, it's like, okay, computer fraud, what the fuck ever, dude. Cyber attacks at them all the time.
But that was like that was like, yeah, groundbreaking at that point, right?
Yeah, dude. People are like, what is this device? First of all, it's a computer, right? And then second of all, we're like, people can attack your shit through a fucking computer.
Right.
So they want to look at all right. And like digital sabotage is a news cycle every day, you know. But in 1988, it's like, dude, exactly like we said, what the fuck? The early internet wasn't about the internet yet. It was smaller, it was academic, you know, it was institutionalized and like trusted. You had to be on it, you know, you got it from a disc. We literally downloaded on a disc.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Because like that wasn't hooked up to anything.
No.
So what was that? Anywho, the weird thing to mention too, I feel like the Morris worm worked because there wasn't an emotional like attachment to anything, you know. Social media has us very emotionally attached to shit.
Yeah.
So then when you hop onto something and then all of a sudden it's like, well, whatever you hopped on, you can be attacked on and whatnot. People are like, okay, I just won't fucking get on it then, you know?
Right.
Simple as that. You know, so it's like moving across these systems and all that, and it exploits the weakness and all this, and people are like, network, let's not fucking fuck with the network, you know? And people saw these computers until this Morris worm as a tool. They didn't have like outside of the box functions. You know, they were, it does Word documents for me, it does math, or it saves files that I use a program to upload it in, you know, that there's nothing more than that. The crazy thing about the Morris worm, right, is it opened everybody's eyes to like a reveal that the digital layer is like a literal environment almost. You can do whatever you want in it. You just have to adapt to the environment.
Right, right. And like you even have alter egos and everything else going on in that. Like, I mean, aliases are rampant now. Back then, that wasn't
Exactly. There's alter egos, there's attacks, right? There's fucking whole
now
other worlds.
catfishing's a thing, right? Like, I mean, can you imagine trying to explain catfishing in the future or like in the past in 1988? Like,
Dude, yeah. Ugh, it's such a contaminated space now from what they fucking first thought it would be, right?
right, right. Be like, dude, okay, a blind date, right? But you got to pick the picture, but it wasn't the picture.
You're like, dude, another one.
It might
How
have even
often,
had a
dude?
dick, bro. Like trying to explain it these days, like, Ray had a dick, bro.
People would be so fucking tripped out too if nowadays you were like, we can literally turn on a TV and order dicks on chicks.
Yeah.
That
And
rhymed too.
you can smoke weed in your house openly on the streets even. I mean, it's rampant. Like Denver smells like weed entirely. Like every block
Oh
is
yeah.
just yeah.
Nobody cares that we're just lighting up. Dude, the other
No.
day when Alex and I went to what was it? Zetters? Anywho, a concert. It was so like fucking trash everywhere, dude. I was just having a smoke right out in the middle of the open around everybody with police there and everything. And then we were like, dude, we want to have like, a couple drinks in there, one or two drinks, but we don't want to pay concert prices. I literally put a bottle in the bushes outside of the venue, like a block down. And it was so like homeless and trashed out. I just wrapped it in a bag. And every time we came out, dude, bottle's still there. Oh, fucking weird, right? Just like a little pint, it even looked like homeless. But I was like, dude, I'm not paying for 4 shots in there. That's fucking $70 a shot or some shit, right?
I can only imagine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Um, so like it also pointed out, dude, that there's more to the environment, but it was also very scary because this environment that was reality also at the same time could be infected. Um, and once that like truth is visible and people know that, the future can write itself or people can affect that shit. Because from that point forward, you can draw a line back to everything: cyber warfare, the infrastructure attacks, the ransomware, what like intelligence hacks. What else is there? We fuck up banks or steal like passwords, data theft, things like
Oh
that, or
yeah.
blackmail. Digital
Oh
blackmail is
yeah.
huge, or
Yeah.
uh what do the Chinese do? Algorithm influence. Or
Oh yeah.
yeah, they influx your social media, right? All that shit, dude, literally 1988. And this is where we're at today. But that first worm proved that that environment could be manipulated to that point. It's pretty crazy, right? Um, it doesn't only matter though, technically, dude. To me, it's a little bit spiritually too, okay? And I wrote this note here. It in a spiritual way, it introduces a new fear into your culture. Like you can't touch it, you can't see it. They didn't understand it in 1988, and it still had the power to disrupt like everything everybody fucking knows. And
Right.
that's weird, right? That fucks with you on a spiritual level. It's not a gun, it's not a bomb, it's not the army, it's a
Right.
code. And it's like a hidden, shadowy thing at this point, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's weird. Um,
Which, yeah, I mean, that's our entire money system if you get into it. I mean, how much money do you have on you right now? Not as much as the code says you have, right?
yeah. Um, Speaking of money, I do have a couple bucks in my pocket right now because my son just lost his first tooth. So, and if that gives you any hint of idea, folks, it is nighttime here and my son's passed out. I have to sneak money under his fucking pillow tonight
You're a fucking because you're a fairy.
because I'm a fairy. I'm a shirtless fairy with another man on screen naked. Let's go, algorithm. Where are the bears at? Oh, I shouldn't have said
Man.
that. Okay. So now, oh no, I lied. I lied on the IPCC. These are the notes, and I fucked the whole thing up. It's
Damn it.
dude, it's planets. It's planets. I drew a little planet next to it. Well, I didn't draw it. You saw it's a Word document. I fucking clip arted a planet next to it. But hey, nobody needs to know that.
Damn it, now
Anywho.
you're really fucking with me.
All right, dude. So, yeah. Yeah.
Dude, it's fucking planets. That's all I get.
Okay. So, if the Morris worm, dude, showed the birth of a vulnerable network, right? This next thing I want to talk about is going to show like planet. It's as massive as a network. Okay, how do you put the size on a network? First of all, but the idea that a whole planet can be framed as an object and then like managed is fucking wild, and that's kind of like what network does. So this is a perfect segue into the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And it's weird, sounds simple, but dude, this shit is fucking sketchy. Okay. Nobody paid attention to this shit either. I don't know what's happening in our damn lives that when we were born, it must have been the most lax year ever, dude. There must have been zero issues with anything for all this shit to happen all the fucking time. And people were just like, yeah, roll it out. Right?
Yeah.
So it was established by the World Meteorological Organization, or the WMO, and the United Nations Environment Program. And it was the same year that NASA scientist, hang the mic here a little bit lower so I can get into it. NASA scientist James Hansen gave the Senate testimony that like pushed climate change to be a real thing. Okay. And
Was it
we
going
could
hotter then or colder?
okay, so we could be lazy right here and say, oh man, is it real? Is it getting hotter or colder? Right? That's a lazy ass argument, and that's the easy part of it, dude.
Yeah.
The crazy part that ties into 1988 is that it didn't just like discuss that part of it, but the part that they started talking about was like climate change now needs to be framed as a governable system. Like people need to be in charge of it, which,
Money.
yeah, well, yes.
Money.
Why are we controlling our weather? Now it's got monetary value. So you hit it right on the head, dude. The atmosphere, it's not a part of nature. It's no longer part of our history. It's something to measure. It's a model. You know, it gives us forecasts now, and it's the influence through a coordinated policy. And for the people who pay attention to our shit, you will realize, shout out Matthew over here, our boy, and a day best friend, made an intro where plenty of news things are all talking at the same time, saying the same fucking thing. Thank you, climate control. Thank you, IPCC. You came up with an idea to coordinate every news station calling something the same thing at the same time. So you're not getting a real fact from anything, right?
We're really good at just throwing a fancy name on different things, right? Like baby killing, abortion.
Or MAGA voting. Depends on how. See, I'm so torn here. It's like, what happened to the Epstein files? This is why we didn't do an episode on it yet, because we needed to wait where this fucking played out.
Yeah, dude, it's not over. There's more to the story. A lot more.
Yes. Not our story yet. And that, like, when you govern that and say, and now there's money and all this, right? It's power in a nutshell. You accept a whole new logic with that. You know, it becomes planetary, or planets, global warming. We need to affect this whole planet level. You know, so now the response is global. The response is planet level. Assessments, models, behavior patterns. You know, now the planet has all this shit fucking about it. It's like,
Right.
okay, dude, we're living here either way, dude. Let's know what the planet does. Does it fucking matter if we know what
And
the planet does? It's going to do it either way tomorrow. We can't fucking
And
control it.
us not doing something doesn't stop it from happening ever, 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 ever.
Yeah,
So
that's my point.
I mean, that's why I'm pretty sure China has us on lock for mostly everything, is there's too much red tape here, you know? Like for them, there is no EPA. You can just dump it in the fucking river. You know, but I
They
mean,
have their own damn sun.
yeah.
And we're like, We get
That's that
we get the
dangerous
energy
freedom I
from
kinda
life from the
like.
sun. Yes. Hell yeah, dog. Let's do it. Let's burn this motherfucker.
Dude, they were trying to privatize nuclear stuff like that, though.
Why not?
Like, it would have been great, but somebody would have been an asshole sooner or later.
Dude, the crazy part is that we sit here and go, oh, it's our life breed. This is where everything happens, the fucking sun, all this stuff. And then we literally make no attempt to affect China developing a damn sun. But we say the sun is like the lifeblood of planets. Nobody thinks they might be trying to fuck with the people they hate the most, the Westerners. Why are the only one thinking this? Come on, right?
Okay. We spawned this on a couple times, didn't we?
Well, yeah. I know. Maybe that's why China's trying to get that. Maybe that's what they mean by the sun.
But it's the opposite, though, right? They're doing.
What do you mean? Opposite this way?
Like,
no, they're all this way. They're not opposite.
no, like they're nuclear shit.
Yes. Yes. They say their nuclear shit is not like.
It's fusion, not fission, right?
Yes, that's the word I was
like
looking
the
for.
sun.
Yes, it'll melt you, not disintegrate.
How do you stop it?
I saw this on Megamind one time. I think you open like a giant lead shield, right? That's why we have the technology of. See, I think that's why we were doing the technology where we could travel fast off microwaves with lead shields that we push, but they're gold into space, right? And we were using radio waves, but then we never did anything after that. It's because I think we were trying to get protection of that shit, right? We can push it away. I mean, what would,
was like
how
they're
else would you
spreading
deter it?
radiation like crazy.
I am rubber, you are glue. Right? You're not getting me, dude. So like dude, that's modern power in a nutshell, right? And once you accept like it's on a planetary system with models and it needs to be coordinated through everything, you agree to a whole new logic. And it normalized permanent crisis management, I guess would be the word, but on a global scale, And once crisis architecture is in the fold, it's not confined to one crisis. Everybody knows that.
Right.
It's gonna come out on everything. If there's a climate emergency, well, all of a sudden it's a public health emergency because of the air. Well, now all of a sudden the people are going in the hospital, so it's a security emergency. And now all of a sudden it's a financial emergency because we're all broke from being sick. And then we're all home. So now electricity has got more expensive. You get what I'm getting here?
Right.
They birthed a way to spiral an emergency without there being an emergency. Oh, you guys got nothing going on? Well, the sun's going to kill you tomorrow. You're like,
yeah.
Well, fuck.
We've just lived through one, 6 years ago now, and there's still motherfuckers wearing masks.
Still motherfucker, yeah. Dude, seriously, different issue, same machine, right? Same fucking machine. Still doing it. And that's why. You got your experts on your panels, you got your models, your thresholds, all wrong.
Yeah, like because one dude says some shit.
Trust the science. Yeah, Matt. Trust the science.
Yeah, the one fucking dude.
The emergency requires you to trust the science.
Just chilling at a baseball game by himself with no mask on.
Yeah, bro. But that shit was born in 1988 on November 2nd. No, that was the worm. 1988. Year we're born. They can declare like public panic.
Yeah, they were just trying to cause panic. Like,
yes.
they've done it periodically throughout history, like Y2K was the next one, I think. Big one.
Dude, and once the planet is a managed object, you can manage human behavior, right? And so it yes, it's malice. It proves malice, dude, but it's legitimate control. You know, the scale of the problem becomes how much you're willing to allow. How much is your scale of permission on
Right.
how big the problem is?
And then it's exponential for the more you allow, you know.
Exactly. And then see,
It's like a crack in a dam, you know. A crack becomes you know, just
yes. And who gets to decide? Like, who gets to decide that we're fucking allowing a little bit of this water pressure through that'll crack in there? And then the dude who's like, well, it might crack. So we could probably go this far. And the other guy's like, well, it'll certainly crack, you know, and it doesn't. That's what we're fucking getting dealt right now. And then, okay. So I've pointed to a couple things that are like, dude, is this shit simulated or whatnot? Or why does it keep happening like that? We get into
if you get into it, our money isn't simulated.
oh yeah.
Well, based on futures and bullshit.
Money, see, money's a fuckery. Look at my hand floating here, but I'm actually it's a wiener. It's a wiener there I'm grabbing. No, JK, that's my mic. Money's a crazy thing, right? Because it's like out of control of people, and we're like, oh, it's simulated, it's got no bearing. But then Jesus was sold out for money. So there's like this very dark occult stigma to money too in my brain, right?
At least real money. I mean, shit. He wasn't giving it up for fiat currency, at least.
He was given out for slave money, which is
I mean, yeah, it's arguably worse, but silver is silver. Ours doesn't even have value.
speaking of Jesus, I was handing out things to the homeless again, right? I've talked about this before, but as everybody knows, I was a shitty satanic person. I feel like I owe a lot to get back into heaven. Anywho, saw a person getting freezing, right? Drove by twice, still there. And then like the second time I was coming back home, they were tossing and turning all hard. I could tell they were cold. So I brought them back shit. And then this was the crazy part, like that made me think, you know, how do you I asked if I could pray for him when I met him, you know, and talk to him and all this shit. I said, hey bro, will you pray with me? Um it I got into like two ways of thinking about it. You know, a lot of people would be like, please, Lord, we love you and help everything that we got. And let's get through this. And the dude I met and help him, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Right.
And then for me, it's always like gratitude for what Christ has done.
Right. What you
Like,
already have. You can't ask him for more if you don't
yes.
thank him for what you got, right?
And I couldn't even ask him for something until I thank him for what he did on the cross. Right. So sometimes I feel like my way of praying when I get to people and they're like, yeah, you could pray for me. And when I pray for them, I go, you know, thank you, Lord, for, in layman's terms, I say it nicer, but essentially dying on the cross so that this dude's still here, even alive while he's homeless. And it's like, well, what more do you want me to ask for, bro?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, a little side tangent that just reminded me of when we spoke on Jesus, but I'm like, how am I supposed to pray for these people when I go and ask them? Because that's really all I want to do, dude. I'll bring them some food and I'm like, let's just talk about Jesus. It'll help your life, you know?
Yeah.
But then I get torn and I'm like, I should have a prayer in my pocket ready.
Nah, dude.
But that
Like,
doesn't feel
that's
right. Yeah.
That's what the church would do, right?
Exactly.
Well, the new,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that church.
Mhm.
But so then it's
The
I get
religious
into
church. You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
Yeah, Jesus did not have a religion.
Mm.
Anywho, just a little thing there. I don't know why I always feel like that though, but you know, it always does kind of make me feel weird. I guess I'll speak a couple more things on that, you know, because it's I don't know, people don't like to hear that, you know. People want to pray and be like, oh, thank you, Jesus, you know, stand strong with us. Please give us this, please. My grandma's sick, you know, or we've been struggling real hard, help us through this. And it's like I always feel like we I'm morbid, I guess would be the word. It's like, dude, thanks for fucking dying so that I'm not a piece of shit, right?
Right. The rest of this don't mean shit, you know?
Yeah, right. But yeah. Anywho, my 2 cents. Back to it, dude. In 1988, okay, here's where like I got to the installation part, okay? Um, according to Hugo is what it's called. Okay, so like humans, we get into this thing called Hugo. In 1988, Sidney Brenner proposed what became the HGO or Hugo or the Human Genome Organization. And the
Mm.
Human Genome Project was getting like underway. Okay. And it was a proposal endorsed at, what was it, Cold Spring Harbor on April 30th, 1988. And right, so April, literally right after you, right before me, Victor McCusick, Cusick or Cusick? I feel like it's Cusick.
Kusick, probably, maybe. I don't know.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, it's the 80s, it's Cusick. He was the founding president, okay? Now, it just sounds like committee and stuff and all that and paperwork and boring shit, dude. But it's the fucking human genome, okay? It's not just another science program. It's the moment where humanity starts like approaching things in a new way, dude. We're not a body, we're not a soul, we're not a citizen, but we're a sequence. We're the human genome. Now, at this point, we're DNA. And once we have a code, we're information.
Mm.
Now going back to the last thing I was just talking about, right?
Used
We
to be
made the
able to get away
world.
with murder.
Yeah, nope. Now we know everything fucking about you. Um, and that changed the world, you know.
Because
The
you
lang
took a drink out of a freaking water bottle. You know?
exactly. The planet is a system, and remember, we're making it work for us now. And guess what we get to do on this planet now? Record every human genome on it. Okay. And so the genetic code or decoding DNA, you know, mapping the genome, all that shit, dude, that's the language we're into now. And it's not accidental. Um, it's computer language, dude. It shows up inside of literally like the definition of everything in life,
Yeah.
which is weird that the fucking internet and the first goddamn worm that literally exposed a whole new environment that could be controlled and manipulated is now happening at the same time. And now we know there's code in DNA. Okay. And it's
Mhm.
called the code for a reason, dude. It contains biological instruction. If you listen to our mitochondria episode, you would know this. But biological instructions used by cells to build the
The,
proteins and regulate life.
they're the powerhouse of the cells, people.
That's goddamn right. The mighty mitochondria. Um, and scientists don't just like use that word loosely, right, dude? You're not regulating life processes because it really reflects real information structure, right? Once and all the way down to like your cultural shit, you know, is in your DNA fucking genome. That's how crazy this shit got.
Yeah, like little robots moving around your shit. It's crazy.
Yes. um, and like once we start saying these humans are codes, dude, they're readable. Okay. We're searchable, like you said, we're classifiable, and we're editable. Fast forward 2026, you can have a baby be anything you want. Here's the crazy part, dude. Who who got to map us, right? Who got to store us? Who gets to decide what the classification is of us?
We
Am
were
I
made in
normal?
him. We were made in his image.
Exactly. Exactly. But now we're putting a quote unquote code on it, you know, that might need correction. You know, we're hitting that interconflict there.
All right.
That's weird shit. And it starts, it's not like sci-fi anymore, right? It starts looking like historical, and it starts looking metaphysical. And for like most of our history, dude, life was understood with religious and like moral and philosophical shit. And now we're like, well, if you were a code that could be created and editable, what do you mean philosophical or God?
I don't know why my parents chose autism, but here I am.
But I need to fucking, I got a soundboard. Why don't I save sounds on that? That was gold. Um, so like maybe that world ending, dude, you know, like that before 1988, maybe that was the idea. And then it ended that. And everybody shifted to the understanding of what a human being is, right? And actually, now humanity and us were like machine translatable and code readable fucking things,
Right.
you know? And that's where I get to like the install part, you know? I led up to these things that started happening and they all broke into right into our DNA. Oh, all of a sudden we're code and we figured out all these things that made code within the universe. It's fucking weird to all happen at once, dude. And it's like, were they all manipulating it? Because if Hugo is like the
You know, if
moment
they
we're
discover it, they gotta fuck with it.
exactly, if that's the moment humanity becomes code, well, then all of a sudden that's the moment they gotta fuck with it. Exactly.
How long did we argue over the sheep? Remember the sheep? The cloned sheep, like
Oh my goodness. Dolly.
Dolly.
They did clone her.
They did.
Remember?
And
We
that was like
talked about this in a
the
clone episode. What? It got crazy. What was it?
I forget, dude. Damn. We need to watch our own episode.
Fuck. Yeah, if fucking Crow out there didn't get our hard drive wiped, we could watch some old ones. There's like 50 other floating out there somewhere. I got the hard drive, folks. So if anybody knows,
Bro.
yeah, Crow knows how to give it back to me. Come on, bro. Come. I do need to have him back on. Fuck. We'll fucking talk his ear off, huh? But you're absolutely right, dude. Once we made it that, we're like, wow, you're fucking money, you know, it can be managed. And
Right.
once it's managed, it can be optimized. And once it's optimized, it's commercialized.
Right.
Industry. Now, I don't want to be like, let's see here. I don't want to be like 1988. Oh man, fucking evil tech lords took over the human body. Because that's kind of where that felt like that was going. So let's pull the reins back on that a little bit, right? I wanted it to be like 1988 is a weird transition where our biology, I guess, was open to being like fucked with. I guess the design of us would be the way to say it. And that's what I thought was weird, dude. And that's like where Hugo became in because of all those other things. We're now literally just found out how to manipulate the human genome at the same time. You know, right when we found out how to manipulate code viruses and things like that. So it got weird to me. It made me be like, well, what is life, right? If it can be improved or it can be corrected, or is it engineered and they're scaling it back through our problems? And then I say there, like that's some real thing, but I don't believe in that. I just like the elite, you know?
Right.
It's fucking weird.
You were engineered now to be here.
To be monetized,
Yeah.
right? um,
So we are just in the Matrix. They just
I'm not
have more or less cables hooked into our back, and they're just like pumping us for information, right?
I'm not saying that, but if somebody came and was like, yo, let's debate that the earth is a simulation, I could be like, well, motherfucker, I was born in 1988, and let me give you a timeline of how bad it's gone.
Just
You know?
saying. It's not that far. I mean, they just have it wireless. They didn't see that when they made the Matrix. It's wireless, stupids. We have phones that we put in front of our own faces.
I mean,
Stupids.
they did kind of see it was wireless because they were on the Sentinel floating through, right?
But all the people were hooked up.
That's true. Well, I mean, wireless isn't truly wireless. Your router's still plugged in. Gotcha.
I'm not on Wi-Fi, motherfucker.
My computer. Okay. We fucking have a podcast. You can't be on Wi-Fi. You got to have that shit hardwired. Okay. We need a stable connection. All the other shit in the house is Wi-Fi. And we're not in the same house. That also sounded weird. See, now it
Maybe
sounds like
I'm on my cellular network.
now it sounds like we're in the same house. I made it, and we're two naked dudes.
Two naked dudes in the same house, dude. You gave us away. Thanks.
Two dudes,
High
one
five, bro.
house. Yeah, right. It'd be the same. But,
Yeah, otherwise, stupid.
what I'm doing here. It's mirrored, okay? It's mirrored for the fucking setting, so I can see it. Oh shit. That was good. That was good. It made me feel good. But where were we at here? Ooh, monetizing, right? We're monetizing humans. So maybe this is like where human life stopped being primarily sacred, mystery, religion, blah, blah, blah. But now it's like a design space, it's a computer layout, whatever. Because if you look at the downstream shit that happened, the shape of the future once you start doing this becomes obvious, right? You got gene editing, transhuman ambitions, transhumanism, big word we use now. Fertility engineering, right? Babies, I've said that a bunch. You can control a baby. People literally get venture capital money, dude, just because they say they're a biotech firm. Oh man, we think we can grow an arm. Here's 4 billion. Never grew an arm.
Military or government contracts are ridiculous. You don't even have to complete, you just got to do some of the research and take the money. You don't even
You
have to do good.
you watch how you talk about my boy Uncle Sam. He pays a lot of my bills.
Oh, dude. I'm sorry, man. He's been hitting you good, huh?
Man, he's been building. Let me tell you that. He's been needing electricity.
I won't tell you what he's been doing to me.
He's been
He's my dirty Uncle Sam.
yeah, he's plugging in the things that I'm giving electricity for Matt. Oh fuck. Okay. Right, dude, and all those things I just said, right? Like transhumanism, controlling your baby's genome. We're talking 1988, dude. All that shit happened way down later. But like the birthplace of it, 1988. Weird. And they're later, but the mental framework that makes them already possible was literally 1988. It's one of those years, dude, where the definition of human life starts at the question of being like, is that creation or is that creation? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. Both of them are like, it's creation, but it's not creation.
Right, and there's like God's creation and like fucking with God's creation.
Exactly. Exactly. So perfect segue. Okay. We were monetized, or we get to the point where you could be monetized off of what I just talked about as the human genome and DNA and people. And in 1988, we also started the Basel Accord. Okay. And it's often called Basel One. And it set common minimum capital standards for internationally active banks. So the Bank for International Settlement notes that the 1988 Accord called for a minimum capital ratio of 8% to risk weighted assets. Okay. On paper, sounds stupid. Whatever I just said sounds dumb. Okay. Here we go. Most people think history changes only through explosions, assassinations, right? Military action. We're literally in the middle of Iran right now. Who knows? Trump fucking says that shit. He's lying as fuck. Right? He's like, oh, they want a deal. And Iran comes out and they go, no, we don't. It's
Right.
like, yeah. So, like, a lot of people think that's how shit's changed, dude. But a lot of it is through standardization, rules, ratios, like risk. That's what happens. They don't give a fuck if they go to war, dude. Are you really going to hit my economics in the next 5 years so bad that it ruins my economy? No. Okay, well, then we'll go to war. They think about that shit.
My gas is already $5 a gallon. So
Yeah.
did we think of that all the way through?
Yeah, this fool's an idiot. And that's kind of where Basel One sits. Okay. So banks across the countries are being pulled towards common technical rules. And like they need to be synced, they need to be integrated together and like compatible. So you can look from this money system to that money. You get what I'm saying? Like loans here, loans there. There's a structure for their global finance. And literally digital episodes or digital systems becoming vulnerable, right? Planetary systems becoming governable. We got human systems becoming coded, biological systems becoming monetized design, and now we have financial systems becoming the standard, and that's what we're going to get into. It's over and over and over, dude. Everything gets pulled into it. Everything's turned into a model in 1988. We were chilling, literally chilling. There wasn't like crazy stuff about our moments where we needed our banking. Before 1988, you would go through and, hey, your money was here. Your money was put into there. There were safe deposit boxes. There were these little, I'm walking to the bank today, right? 1988 said, well, actually, we have everybody's money. We need to join together and decide how we're giving everybody's money back.
Right.
And they're a product to us. It's fucked up, dude. Here's the crazy part. Okay. CERN says Tim Berners-Lee. Okay. We're going to get into CERN here. Tim Berners-Lee wrote the first proposal for what became the World Wide Web in March in 89. So 1 year after 88. Okay. We're not talking about the web though. Okay. The World Wide Web wasn't created in 1988. That's not where I'm going to get. It's CERN, right? The beginning stuff of CERN happened in 1989-ish, but was like starting in 1988. Anybody who knows who CERN is, right? It's the Hadron Collider in fucking London. There's a bunch of them around the world, right? There's like 15 or some shit. Circle all over. They collide particles, all the bullshit. Anywho, that's what I want to get into. Just wanted to clarify. We're not talking about a 1988. If somebody roasts us, I know you bitches won't even give us 100 fucking subscribers. Somebody out there might correct us. So I just had to clarify that. All right. The Morris worm already exposed the vulnerability of network like systems on the internet. Okay. And right after that, in 1989, CERN became the birthplace of a World Wide Web proposal that like wrapped humanity in a new network environment. I guess would be the right way to say it because we already called it an environment. So we'll just stick with that. Okay. CERN also like hooks. I don't know. A lot of people are into that today. I feel like too, so it's good to talk about because it feels mythic, right? It's nobody really knows. It's a giant fucking machine, dude. I feel like what the shit it does is invisible. They're like, oh, we got this shit spinning around inside of it. and you don't even know, like, you can't see it.
Right.
Particles are invisible.
Right.
Yeah. So it's weird, okay? That's the first thing to me. It's just fucking sitting there. Anywho, apparently they can understand the foundation of our existence through it, but whatever. This is where the birthplace of the fucking web happens too, okay? Now, whether there's good or bad things you want to say about CERN, the symbolic power that it holds makes sense, you know, if you look back. It feels like a place where humanity's trying to like read the source code of the world. So source code of the world. We have a code. Now we've created a machine that creates like the bang that creates the code of the world.
Gotcha.
You know, the more we're talking about this together, when I put all this, when I wrote all this, they were events I found. They were all separate. Now that I'm reading them all together at one time with you,
Makes sense.
I'm like
all together. Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, dude, this is fun.
They were just building the bigger thing. Yeah.
Yes. Um, you know, and it's not good or bad, dude, but it feels like where we're gonna read the code. And a lot of people go which way or whatever, but I'm not saying we opened a fucking portal with CERN. You know, I don't know. I don't believe that stuff's possible. I believe God created everything. He controls all that shit. We're not opening a fucking portal. That's why he'll collapse the Tower of Babel type shit, you know?
Mhm.
It's not gonna happen. But once like the World Wide Web arrived, dude, it started changing all of us, right? We figured out the Hugo code. We had the first malware worm. That shit's hard to say, man. I fucked these up a lot today. But you know, it felt like our last chance at what would be analog, not digital anymore, you know?
Right.
We moved out of that. And they're not random events, dude. They belong together because they all reveal like the same motion within our civilization.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, dude, we keep going down that path. Like we, me and one of my buddies had a conversation today. Like, you're not going to be able to get a new car without it having new features to be able to say, like, hey, this person's too impaired to drive. Like, yeah, you know what my 1980s fucking Chevy doesn't do?
yeah. Yeah, it doesn't ask me to say my name when I get in or press, you know, some code in.
Right.
Dude,
And
and
like notice
even
my
further apart,
mannerisms and then sell all of that.
you're not going to be able to drive somewhere that you want to. They're going to
Right.
watch every movement you thought you had.
Right.
No, get
Right. If
fucked.
you're driving aggressively, like, oh, this mother, they're like, whoa, slow down.
Yeah, actually, there was a wreck here 3 minutes after you drove aggressively by this person. We noticed it changed their emotional behavior on their AI system. So you're in trouble for the car wreck. It's like,
Watch.
what?
That's the future we're heading to, dude.
I know. I just gave all that shit away to our NSA agent. Sorry, FBI buddy.
If not, now they have all kinds of good ideas.
I know. Now his higher up's going to be like,
Dude, you're getting a promotion.
yeah, why haven't we seen this in the report? Because that was a good idea. You're being fired. Oh shit! You know what I haven't pointed out? Are these old glasses or you had to go get some cheapies?
No, these are my new ones.
Oh, some Nikes,
Yeah.
folks. Matt went with what's the articulate? Is that the word?
Articulate? Sure.
The smart
Articulate.
sound? Is that what they say? I like those.
Dad looking. Very
They,
dad.
they're fire. Those are nice ones.
They give that don't fuck with my daughter vibe.
Exactly. Boulder named family.
Don't fuck with.
We may not be big yet, but I know I can't fucking say somebody's name on here. But you know what we can do? We can fucking get on Hugo and it'll show that human beings can be framed as code through DNA. Dude, in CERN, its threshold like shows the moment before the web And then it shows like that information itself can be like globally networked. CERN's fucking weird. I want to get really into that shit.
And then
Because
we
like the
go
internet's
into
activated at the same time.
and then we go into like the quantum realm where one thing knows what the other thing's doing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't even matter how fast particles go. So because one thing knows what the other thing's already doing, it's all wireless, bro.
Yes. Is it fucking the double slit experiment within Slurn? Slurn.
And you said that there's no such thing as wireless. It's all wireless.
It's all. See, here's what's crazy. If they have proof that the double slit experiment works, okay, and particles know what they're doing when they're being observed, how the fuck ever can you get some random Big Bang explosion in CERN because you're observing it? So the particles are doing something different. They know they're being observed. See, people need to do their research, dude, because science will tell you. They're like, oh no, we know particles act different if we're not observing them. Well, what's CERN? What's the Hadron Collider? Well, it's a big particle observation loop. Oh, so you don't really know what particles are doing? No, we're observing them. Yeah, so you don't know.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
And they're
right.
not reacting in the normal way. You just said that.
Yeah, you just said that. Right? Whatever, dude. We're going to figure it out, though. We'll fucking figure that shit out. And it's not going to be a distraction, dude, because once the world is described that way and they start fucking with the power, then they change that shit, right? They make it a distraction. It becomes less about visible kings and armies and more about like experts and scientists and people who know that shit. Kings and
Fauci.
kings and armies flew off pretty good right there, didn't it?
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
fucking Fauci fucking blew up overnight, bro.
You're
Can't
right.
even say that name without getting nixed off of fucking. We're already fucking banned on that episode. Shit.
No, I got a lot of our stuff removed. I found out it's about the tags.
Mm.
You can't type that you're doing something because it doesn't make sense to me. But that's how you hack the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
Or for your good, right? It's the same thing. You fucking optimize it, manage it, monetize it.
Same thing.
Folks, we figured it out. And I just wanted to say this is why 1988 was fucking crazy to me. What do you
Got
think?
really good at monitoring their slaves.
Dude, yeah. But there's too much shit that happened over and over and over in 1988. It was like they caught on right there, right? That was the little breaking point where they were like, "Oh, it clicked. We figured out how to do it." And so they just went after it.
Yeah.
Everything's a code. We can monetize it all. We can standardize it and we can hack it.
Right.
We know how to recognize patterns. Literally, yeah. Yeah, they recognized patterns. They fucking broke down code. They literally stopped like science and went, well, hold on. Now structure and money is going to control how we go about that science. It's like, dude, what if it was one of those hinge years where they did change reality and not the sense of like wormholes, like I was saying at the beginning,
right.
but through literally just normal shit. And that's to the point too.
Controls, right? Different controls on us, basically.
Exactly. The world's not always a conspiracy. Shit just happens and you don't even fucking notice
We're all
it.
just fucking guinea pigs, bro.
Yes. It's like, nah,
I'm not a
shit.
guinea pig. I didn't get a shot in my arm. Like, yeah, but you're still like sitting in front of your TV every day, and that's not much different.
Yeah, you still did exactly what they thought you would.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's 1988 wasn't, oh, the year ending in a movie sense or some mushroom cloud like Terminator happens with Judgment Day, you know? No meteors and heavens stuff or technology reset, dude. It was like we installed shit. We didn't reset anything. We fucking literally like leveled up everything that we were learning, you know? We found out we could infect the digital world. We could manage our planet. You know, humans were code. Life can be engineered and we standardized people's money through a bank. Fuck you.
Yeah.
That was the shittiest part, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And on the
Yeah.
end of that, folks, we got fucked.
Yep, you're just a number.
And I feel like after doing all that, it's like I shouldn't have told people we were born in 1988 because now we're to blame. You know, now we're just another part of the 1988 conspiracy. Why do we know all this info? We're spreading it out to people that the world got fucked in 1988. What am I doing?
Meh. Explaining it to them how they fucked us because we had no control.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
was just made with autism, I guess. It was like, oop,
that's the biggest
hit
part.
the wrong
Dude.
button on that guy.
That's the biggest, weirdest part about 1988. Hey, life is a code. And we also figured out that you can make viruses to manipulate the code of life. But they're two separate things, folks. Sure. And with that, we're the end of Day's Best Friends. I'm your boy, Michael.
And I'm Matt.
And we're two shirtless dudes without an OnlyFans.
If you don't first subscribe, press your head.